her head no and bowed back over the altar. And I thought, oh, thank God, she's going to make the right decision this time. But the third time, she raised her head, looked back over her shoulder at the crowd, and they were saying, come on. That time, she got up from the altar, walked back to where they was at, and in a few minutes, she was making fun just like they were. She had forgot all about being at the feet of the Master. Are y'all hearing me? The next year when camp rolled around, I asked the camp director, is she going to be here? He said, man, haven't you heard? I said, no, sir. He said, last year after camp, she got hit on her bike. He said, I visited her. She's 18 years old. She lives in the nursing home. She's got a feeding tube running in her mouth. Her mind's gone. She don't know who she is. Are y'all hearing me preach? You say, well, it don't really make any difference. I'm young. I say when the Spirit of God starts moving on your heart and you're in the right place and Jesus is here, you better hear me. That is the time. I said that is the time. Do you realize all Angel would have had to done that night was said yes to God? Hey, brother, I got news for you. I don't want to say no when I could just say yes to God. She needed to say yes to God in this meeting. There's some of y'all got to say yes in this meeting. I'm going to tell you, a yes will forever change your life. And a no will forever change your life. Somebody say amen. I said a yes will forever change your life, but a no will forever change your life. That preacher went back every night in that meeting. He would go back to her. I know some of these sisters, so I'll use one of them. He would go back and he would say, I feel so strong. You need to surrender to God. She said, oh, preacher, I appreciate your concern. I appreciate how you're feeling. I thank you for your preaching and your prayers. But I got some things I want to do in life. I'm not really ready to say yes to God yet. You better hear me. Brother, we don't get ready when we want to get ready. We say yes when God shows up. I said, you got to say yes when God shows up. It's not about my timetable. It's about when the Spirit of God comes down and talks to you. Every night. The last night, Brother Palmer, it's good to see you. The last night, he walked back to her and got down on his knees in front of her. He said, I don't want to leave here until you make the right decision. She never got mad. She was always nice. She said, I'm so glad. Tears running down her face, and I love you, preacher. I thank you for having a burden for me, but I've already told you, I'm not ready to say yes yet. Camp ended, and a few days later, her daddy was on his way home down the dirt road that led to their house. And he looked off, and there were several people lived down it. He looked off over, and he said, somebody's thrown a cigarette out and started a grass fire. And he got out of his car, and he walked over to the edge, and he looked. And laying down there upside down in the ditch was his daughter's car. And it was starting to catch on fire. That daddy screamed and flung himself off of the side of that ditch and began frantically trying to work. She was laying there conscious in the car. She was hollering, Dad, oh Dad, get me out of here. It's starting to get hot in here, Dad. Please help me. He said, honey, I'm trying. Oh, the flames began to work up into the car. She began to scream, Dad, I can't move. I can't get out of here. Help. He said, honey, I'm trying. But then he said, baby, you need need to pray. You need to ask God to help you. I can't get you out of here. His fingers is a-bleeding. He's a-crying. It's getting too hot to touch. And he said, I heard her say out of the flames of that car, Daddy, I've been trying, but I can't get anywhere. I just can't get through. I just can't pray through. You see, the time to say yes had been a few days ago during camp. Hey, are y'all hearing me? And that daddy said, standing in that funeral home, the last thing I ever heard her say was, I just can't get through. I just can't get through. I come to tell somebody tonight, you can get through in this service. I said you can say yes. I said you can say yes. And I have no idea why you would want to say no when you could say yes to God. You say, well, I don't think it makes that much difference. It did for our friend Paula. Paula went to church one night. She had been one of those good church girls. Done everything seemingly right growing up. She had got a job in Texarkana and went to work on the public workplace. 19 years old, and things started working on her. While nobody could see it, she started slipping. She started doing some things she felt she didn't need to be doing and overriding her conscience. One night they had church there at the church at Falk. At the end of that church, a friend of mine, Dominic Moreno, got up. He said, I'm going to tell y'all something. He said, I know it's Wednesday night and it's time to go home. But he said, there's somebody in this house that needs to surrender to God tonight before we go home. They said the Holy Ghost fell in that house. Quietness settled over it and people began to weep. The drawing power of God fell in that house. I wish some of you grown-ups right now would start praying it happen right here in a few seconds. The drawing power of God fell in that house. People started getting up and walking down the aisle, and they'd walk down the aisle, and Brother Dominic would say, I'm glad you're coming, but it's not you. Somebody got up over here in that big congregation. He said, I'm glad you're coming, pray through, but it's not you. But after a while, Paula got up, started down the aisle. When she did, Brother Dominic began to weep. He said, that's it right there. It's you. She fell across that altar and began to weep and cry. Came to the place of, what are you going to say? And you know what she did? She said yes. I said she said yes. When she got to that place, she said yes to God. She said, oh yeah, I don't want anything between me and God. I want my whole life to be surrendered to God. There's some of y'all, it's not that you're wanting to go into the world. It's not that you're wanting to go be sinful. It's just God has dealt with you about things in your life where you need to move closer to Him, and you've not been willing to say yes. It's time. I said it's time. Why say no when you could say yes? I said why say no when you could say yes? Paula prayed through until she prayed all the way through to the Holy Ghost, and they danced all over the front of the house glorifying God, and they had a wonderful service, and she testified how God had brought her to that place, and she was willing to go all the way with God. That was Wednesday night. Friday morning on the way to work, they never knew what happened, but that car and that semi met head on, and Paula was instantly gone into another world. But I'll promise you right now, if you went to heaven, you'd find a little girl that'd tell you, I'm glad on a Wednesday night I said yes. I was glad on a Wednesday. Hey! I was glad on a Wednesday night I said yes to God. I was glad I made made my way. I was glad I didn't say no. I was glad I didn't harden my heart. I was glad I said yes. I'm going to tell y'all something. The yes life is so much easier in the long run. You see, what the devil don't show you is he says if you say yes right here, then this is what's going to happen in your immediate future. And he tells you all of those bad things. Come on, Sister Darla. But what he don't show you is the long-term effect of a no to God. Where'd Brother Cruz go to? Step out there, Brother Cruz. I preached to you in youth camp lots of times. Come now. And the reason you're here tonight is somewhere you said yes to God. Sister Rachel, you'll help me, won't you? Stand up. I just preached a revival at y'all's church. You're a pastor's wife. I preached to you a lot of times in youth camp. You know why you're where you're at? Because of those times I seen you at the altar saying yes to God. I closed a revival Wednesday or Sunday night or Friday night, for Brother Tim Webb. He said, I just remember all those times when you preached. He said at the last night at youth camp, and I made my way to the altar and I surrendered myself to God. Come on now. But I'm going to tell you, for every one of these, and I could have called more, I'm sure, but for every one of these, I know people that said no. I could show them to you tonight. They're drunks. They're drug addicts. They're homosexuals. They're lesbians. I prayed with them around the altar. But when it came time to say yes or no to God, they didn't say yes. You say, well, this is just another camp, and you're just a little wrought up and overzealous. You don't understand what I have seen of the long term of a no to God, of what it'll do to a life. Homes are busted up. Life's in a mess. Some of them are in jail. There are others that said no that are in hell right now. Are y'all hearing me? Some are in the nursing home. Some are in assisted living places. Other people feed them. They'd give anything to go back to a service like you're sitting in right now and say, I'll say yes. I'll say yes. Why would you say no when you could say yes? Stand all over this house. Every head's bowed right now. I don't want you looking at one of your friends. It don't make a lick of difference what they do. They can't say yes or no for you. I want every head bowed and every eye closed. You know, on this first night of camp, I got some things in my life I'm needing to surrender to God. I could give a long drawn out altar call, but I'm going to tell you, there's a bunch of y'all ought to break out of your pew right now and almost run to this altar saying, I need to say yes to God in my life. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Is there a young person here that'd be willing to get out of your pew and say, it doesn't matter what everybody else is thinking. I'm going to say yes to God. Come on. Come on. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Move out of there. It doesn't matter if they say yes. It doesn't matter if they say no. It doesn't matter what they do. I just know what I'm going to do. I know I'm going to come fall on my face and I'm going to surrender my life to God. I'm going to give Him everything. I'm just going to say yes.
I'll say yes.
Huh?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I'll say yes.
I'll say yes. Yes, yes.
And oh, I'll say yes, Lord. All right, moms and dads and grown-ups, we need a lot of help around these altars. I wouldn't even think of sitting in my pew and watching a group like this pray. I'd get right down here in the middle of them. I'd find somebody and lay my hand on them. You might even whisper in their ear and tell them yes is the best answer you can ever give to God. You can say yes to God. It'll change your life. I said it'll change your life. I said it will change your life.
I'll say yes, Lord.
I will. I'll say yes, Lord.
I'll say yes, Lord.
God, I've got some things in my life.
I'll say
They're really not like you, God.
Yes, yes.
They're not surrendered to you, God.
I'll say yes. Yes, yes.
I'll say yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Hey!
I'll say yes, Lord.
You know I'll say yes, Lord.
I'll say yes.
My God, I need you.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you talk to God. Talk to God, young man. Say, God, I'll say yes.
I'll say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I'll say yes, Lord.
You know I will.
I'll say yes, Lord.
Oh, God. We want Pentecost again. But before we can experience the fire of Pentecost, we will have to experience a surrendered life. Somewhere where we say yes.
Yes, yes. I'll say yes.
I'll say yes.
Yes, yes.
You know
I'll say yes,
Come on, young
Lord. I'll say yes, Lord. I'll say yes.
Oh, you say, oh, preacher, there's people. They're not running, they're not jumping, they're not running up and down the aisles. That's all right. This could be the service that changes your entire destiny. The time when you say yes to God. Jesus.
Be the Lord of all. Jesus be the Lord of all. The kingdoms of my heart.
Oh, God, oh, God.
Jesus
Oh,
be
God.
the Lord of all.
Oh, and
Jesus be the Lord of all.
Oh, yeah, you can say yes. You can say yes. You can look back and say, I didn't wait till the second or third day of camp. I did it on the first day. I got things fixed up with God.
Jesus, I surrender all.
Come on.
Jesus,
I
I surrender all.
Oh.
Jesus, I surrender all. The kingdom's of
Come on.
my heart.
Oh, yes.
In my heart,
Yes.
there are kingdoms of a world that's all
This is the way it's set up.
my own.
You get to make the decision. The decision is yours.
Kingdoms that
But
are owned
why would you say no?
by myself
when you could say yes?
God alone. In the past, when I've tried to rule my world, it just seemed to fall apart.
My.
So Jesus be the Lord of all the kingdoms of my heart.
Oh.
Jesus be
Jesus.
the Lord,
Be the Lord
of all.
Jesus
be the Lord of all. Jesus be the Lord of all the kingdoms of my heart. I guess I only fooled myself when I said I'd given all. For in a secret corner of my heart was a kingdom that did not fall. But I surrender now and take my heart as your throne. Rule its kingdoms great and small. Jesus be the Lord of all the kingdoms of my heart. Jesus be the Lord of all. Jesus be the Lord of all. Jesus be the Lord of all the kingdoms of my heart. Jesus be the Lord of
Somebody ought to raise their hands. Say, Lord, this is a sign of my surrender to you. This is my sign of saying yes, God.
Jesus be
It doesn't matter what my friends do. Don't matter what my family does. What I'm going to do is lift my hands up. I'm going to say, yes, Lord, fill every part of my heart. Fill every part of my mind. Fill me with the Spirit of God. Oh, Jesus, be the Lord of all.
Jesus be the Lord of all the kingdoms of my heart. Woo! I will give you all. I will give you all. If all is what you ask of me, I will not withhold. And if my sacrifice is less than giving you my very best, help me remember Calvary and be willing to say yes. Oh, I will give you all. I will give you all. If all is what you ask of me, I will not withhold. And if my sacrifice is less and giving you my very best.
Help me remember Calvary
and be willing
make me willing to say
yes. God spoke to Abraham and said, take your only son and offer up a sacrifice to the one you love. Is there not some other sacrifice that I can bring? If that's what you ask, dear Lord, I'll give you anything. Oh, I will give you all. I will give you all.
Do you mean it?
If all is what you ask of me,